you are viewing the Career Planning and Retirement Deliverable 3 made by cadets Paul Delamarski and Stephen Caravana. You can see on the right hand side our works cited. Let's begin. To begin with, this is our user interface, and on the right hand side you can see the results table. At any point, if the user thinks that he has made a mistake in completion of this interface, he can press Ctrl R to reset the table. So we'll begin with the age that's asked for the user. So let's say the age is 22 and the current year is 2016. And as you can see, the bottom cells are being populated on their own. For career, I'm going to pick military. I'm going to pick civilian somewhere in between. For years in the Army to date, I'm going to choose 6. Actually, I'm going to choose 0. And as you can see, the GI Bill here is only highlighted in blue in only certain cells. The first 3 cells are white, and I cannot choose anything to put into them. That's because the GI Bill is only available after I've been in the Army for 3 years. And as you can see, all the other cells that are in blue are required to calculate the Army value. I'm going to go ahead and change it to 6. As you can see, after the military career is over, these numbers do not change. For rank, I'm going to go ahead and choose E3. And I can modify them on my own later on. Assume that. For dependent status, I'm going to go ahead and click No. And somewhere during my 15th year in the Army, I'm going to click Yes. For the zip code, I am just going to write down our West Point zip code. So there's actually a list of 40,000 zip codes, but the user can just choose to write down his own one instead of trying to look up his zip code within the given values. For the GI Bill, I'm going to pick 3 random years and also a random zip code from the list. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Let's say it's 1096. For special pays, anything and anywhere. Every year has 3 slots allocated for special pays, and the user can choose to select either one. For our TSP or 401k contribution, the user has a choice to pick between 0 and 5%, and at any point in his career, he can modify that contribution. For marital status, I'm going to go ahead and click single, and click married, but separate accounts. So as you can see, the only thing that's missing is a civilian career. So I'm going to go ahead and again click a random one, and here on the right hand side we are given the values. And you can see what they mean on the left side. So for example, the total career value with the new retirement plan is going to be around 3 million. That's in present value money. And the way it works is we have a matching table, and depending on the values that the user has selected in the user input table, a matching number is going to be assigned here. And these numbers are pretty much the lookup values, as in rows or columns, that are being used in our lookup tables, which you can see right here. Now the last table, the titled NPV, is where the calculations are taking place. So pretty much the values that are being looked up in the tables, they're being put into this table over here, and for each number that we have an adjusted calculation, which pretty much calculates the amount of money we would have had that specific year at that year, while once again we're adjusting those adjusted values one more time to the inflation to make sure we know how much we're going to have money in the future in present money values. As you can see, here is the military pay, the adjusted military pay, and all these values are pretty much being taken into consideration later on. The orange values at the bottom of each column are most of the times just the sums of the values from those columns. In the TSP and the 401k boxes though, this is just the last value from that specific column. That is because the TSP and the 401k are pretty much compounded mutual funds, kind of like, so the last value is going to be equal to the total value. And this is it. Right here you can see some calculations that we have done, and they're pretty much referenced in our first table right here. So the way we found some mistakes in our thing is by letting our roommates play around with our programs and let them decide the track of their career and what they wanted to modify with it. And we have found out that we have some things to change, such as the GI Bill. We can click on any cell and we can choose any other colleges, while we know in reality we should be only able to select 3 cells. So there has to be a possibility to lock those cells after 3 colleges were selected. Also, they should be selected in a row, not away or apart from each other. Another thing is our model is pretty accurate if we assume that our career starts with the military, but if we change it to civilian first and go to military second, these values over here might not correspond. Like, they will show you, the table will show you some values, but we are not certain if they're right. And I have not been able to fix those mistakes because I did not have enough time allocated for that, but I would have definitely made those improvements if I had the time. Sir, this concludes our presentation. For the last thing, I just wanted to show you how the reset button works. So if the user decides to press Ctrl R simultaneously, the table is being reset and the process can start from the beginning. Thank you very much, sir.